Hello everyone. So welcome back to the third video on linear equations. And in this video, we'll be continuing where we left off in the previous one. And we'll be discussing system of equations in this video. Okay. So we'll try and understand if we have two straight lines in an XY plane, what all are the possibilities? So if you have two straight lines in a plane, there are only three things that can happen. First is the two lines will meet at a point. Second is the two lines are going to run parallel. The third is the two lines are going to overlap each other. These are the only three things that can happen. There is no fourth thing that can happen whenever you have two straight lines in a plane. Now, for these three conditions, we have three different names. So that goes by the name of no solution, unique solution, and infinite solutions. So we're going to understand which case has which name and for what reasons. And what are the things we have to remember for a given specific case. Like if you have no solution, then what are the things we have to remember? What are the things we have to take into consideration? All right. So without wasting our time, let's begin. We're going to start with case number 1. That is unique solution. And I'm going to keep this space for my conclusions. All right, let's begin. Now, when you talk about unique solution, what do you mean by unique solution? Why is it called unique solution? Let's try and understand. So let's say this is XY plane. The vertical line is the y-axis, horizontal line is the x-axis. And let's say I have two straight lines meeting at a point. I have two straight lines meeting at a point. Now, if I have two straight lines meeting at a point, then there will be only one point of intersection. And this one point is basically known as your unique solution. And this one point is basically known as your unique solution. Why is it called unique solution? Because there is only one point which will satisfy both the equations. Of course, it's a straight line, it's going to have an equation. So let's say that this is line L1 and this is line L2. L1 having equation a1x plus b1y plus c1 equals to 0, or if you want to write it in the slope intercept form, then this will become y is equal to minus a1 by b1x minus c1 by b1. And let's say line L2 has some equation a2x plus b2y plus c2 is equal to 0, or y is equal to minus a2 by b2x minus c2 by b2. So I have the equation of line L1, I have the equation of line L2. They both are meeting at a point. They have a unique solution because the coordinates of this point, the green point, is going to satisfy both the equations. Now, whenever you have a unique solution, remember that the slopes of the two lines are always unequal. The slopes of the two lines are always unequal. They have to be unequal, otherwise the line will never meet. If you have two lines having equal slopes, then the two lines are going to run parallel to each other, or they're going to overlap. So I definitely going to have slopes unequal. And when you talk about the y-intercept, the y-intercept can be equal or it can be unequal also. It would depend on the scenario. Okay, if the slopes are unequal, then that means minus a1 over b1 cannot be equal to minus a2 over b2, which will give you the result that a1 over a2 is not equal to b1 over b2, which will give you the result that a1 over a2 is not equal to b1 over b2. So this is the conclusion. You have to remember that set. They will not ask you the proof like why for unique solution a1 over a2 is not equal to b1 over b2, what are the conditions. No, they'll simply give you in the question that for the system of equations we have no solutions. What can you comment regarding a1 or b1 or whatever the equation is? This is all that you need to remember that set. So for case number 1, I'm going to write my conclusions. That is, whenever you have unique solutions, then a1 over a2 is not equal to b1 over b2. Simply remember this, that's it, nothing else. Okay, so this is how the unique solutions case works. All right, next scenario is when the two lines are running parallel to each other. When the two lines are running parallel to each other. Now think about this. If two lines are running parallel to each other, will they meet at a point? If two lines are running parallel to each other, will they meet at a point? No, they will not meet at a point. Which means there is no common solution. So for this case, you will say it's no solution. When the two lines are running parallel to each other, then they will not have any common solution, because the two lines will never meet each other. That's why this condition is known as no solution, when the two lines are running parallel to each other. Again, you can see that this line is L1 and this line here it's L2. And the two lines are parallel, we all know that the slopes will be equal and the intercepts have to be unequal or not equal, because one will lie above the other line. Like for example, in this case, L1's y-intercept is more than L2's y-intercept. L1 is above L2 or L2 is below L1. That's the whole point. So if slopes are equal, then that means minus a1 over b1 should be equal to minus a2 over b2. And if intercepts are unequal, then that means minus c1 over b1 is not equal to minus c2 over b2. So from the first one, I'm going to get the conclusion that a1 over a2 is equal to b1 over b2. And from the second one, I'm going to get the conclusion that c1 over c2 is not equal to b1 over b2. Which will give you the final result, and that is whenever you have no solutions or the two lines are running parallel to each other, that is slope equal, intercept unequal, and that means a1 over a2 is equal to b1 over b2 is not equal to c1 over c2. This will be the condition. Again, you simply need to remember this, that's it, nothing else. The conclusion part, but this is how you reach to the conclusion. If in case you're wondering how did we come to this conclusion, this is how you do it. Whenever the lines are parallel, they're going to have equal slopes and they're going to have unequal y-intercept. Okay, this is how it works. So let me remove all this. We don't need this. So for no solution, A1 over A2 is equal to B1 over B2 is not equal to C1 over C2. Okay, case number 3. The third possibility, or the third thing that can happen between two straight lines is that the two lines are going to overlap each other. The two lines are going to overlap each other. So the two lines are overlapping each other. So this is L1 and this is also L2. Now the two lines are overlapping each other. Can I say I'm going to have infinite points lying on both the lines, and I'm going to have infinite points satisfying the equation of both the lines, right? Therefore, this condition is known as infinite solutions. Therefore, this condition is known as infinite solutions. Now, if the two lines are overlapping each other, can I say they're going to have equal slopes and equal intercepts? Which means you can say that minus A1 over B1 will be equal to minus A2 over B2, which will give you the conclusion that A1 over A2 is equal to B1 over B2. And since I'm going to have equal y-intercepts also, that means minus C1 over B1 is equal to minus C2 over B2, which is going to give that C1 over C2 is equal to B1 over B2. Which means you're going to have your final conclusion as A1 over A2 is equal to B1 over B2 is equal to C1 over C2. These are the three things, these are the three possibilities that can happen between any two lines lying in a XY plane. These are the only three things that can happen. So the two lines, if the two lines are meeting at a point, then the condition is known as unique solution, which means A1 over A2 is not equal to B1 over B2. Second possibility is the two lines are running parallel to each other, which means there is no solution. No solution basically means the two lines will never intersect each other, which means equal slopes and unequal y-intercept. And that means A1 over A2 is equal to B1 over B2, which is not equal to C1 over C2. Third case is the two lines are overlapping each other, which means equal slopes and equal y-intercept. And that is A1 over A2 is equal to B1 over B2, which is equal to C1 over C2. So these are the three equations, 1, 2 and 3. These are the three equations that you need to remember. That's it, nothing else is required. Alright, so having said that, we just need to use these three equations, okay, in order to solve the question. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the questions. I'll be solving the first one for you so that you understand how to solve the questions, and then from the second question you'll be pausing the video and you'll be trying the questions yourself first. Alright, and just remember these three things: unique solution condition, no solution condition, and infinite solution. Not condition, conclusion, my mistake. Remember the conclusion for unique solution, no solution, and infinite solution. That's it, nothing else. Alright, let's start with question number 1. Ax plus by is equal to 20 and 4.5x minus 6y is equal to 10. In the system of equations above, a and b are constants. If the system has infinitely many solutions, then comment on a and b. Now if I have infinitely many solutions, the two lines will be overlapping. Okay, if the two lines are overlapping, then that means equal slopes and equal intercepts. That means my condition should be a1 over a2 should be equal to b1 over b2, and that should be equal to c1 over c2. Plug in the values. You're going to get a over 4.5 is equal to b over minus 6. That will be equal to 20 divided by 10. So a over 4.5 is equal to b over minus 6. That will be equal to 2. Now first I'll be doing a over 4.5 is equal to 2, and then not b, this is 2, and then b over minus 6 is also equal to 2. So a is equal to 9 and b is equal to minus 12. And they could have asked you anything: find a over b, find a plus b, find b by a, find a minus b. All sorts of questions can be found. Now, two things where students do get confused. First thing is, sir, how do we memorize this? Like if you have infinitely many solutions, then how do you know that? Like how can I memorize that? I'm not very good at memorizing things. So try to keep things as simple as possible. Now imagine it this way: if you want infinite solutions, what can be the possibility? If you want infinite solution, there is only one possibility, that the lines have to be overlapping, because in that case only you're going to get infinite solutions, right? So if you have infinite solutions, equal slopes and equal intercepts, so everything is equal. Everything is equal. That means a1 over a2 is equal to b1 over b2 is equal to c1 over c2. Second thing that they ask me, sir, how did you figure out what is a1, what is a2? So what you need to do is, whenever you see a question like this, you will simply equate the first equation. You will simply equate the first equation. First of all, you're going to bring the constant part on the other side, that is on the left hand side. You're going to write it in the general form. I hope you all remember the general form. General form is ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. And then you will simply compare this with a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equal to 0. Now you can compare the coefficients. a1 is a, b1 is b, and c1 is minus 20. Same thing, do it for the second equation also. Second equation is 4.5x minus 6y minus 10 is equal to 0. So compare this with a2x plus b2y plus c2 is equal to 0. You're going to get a2 is 4.5, b2 is minus 6, c2 is minus 10. The next question that they usually ask me is, what if we interchange? That is, what if I take my first equation to be a2x plus b2y plus c2 and the second equation as a1x plus b1y plus c1? It won't matter. It won't change anything. You will still end up getting the same result. It's a ratio. It's a ratio, right? That's what you are doing. So these are like the simplest questions that you will be getting from this chapter. Just need to remember three things: unique solution, lines are intersecting at a point, unequal slopes. Parallel lines, no solutions. Equal slopes, unequal y-intercepts. Third condition, infinite solutions. Equal slopes, equal y-intercepts. These are the only three things you need to know, that's it, nothing else. Okay? Alright, let's move on. So pause the video and draw this question, please. Alright, let's draw this one. So mx plus 3y is equal to 15 and 4x plus 9y is equal to 12. In the system of equations above, m is a constant, x and y are variable. For what value of m will the system of equation have no solution? Now if you have no solution, that means there is no common point. And when will you have no common point? You will have no common point when the lines are parallel. When the lines are parallel. And when the lines are parallel, they're going to have equal slopes and they're going to have unequal y-intercepts. They're going to have equal slopes and unequal y-intercepts. So equal slopes basically means a1 over a2 should be equal to b1 over b2, and unequal y-intercept, that means b1 over b2 cannot be equal to c1 over c2. This is basically what it means. Plug in the values, that's it. So a1 is m, a2 is 4, b1 is 3, b2 is 9, c1 is minus 15, c2 is minus 12. Why minus 15 minus 12? Because I told you that you have to write this equation in the general form, both the equations. So 15 will come to the other side. Okay, so we need to find out the value of m, so we just need these two. So m will be equal to 3 into 4 divided by 9, that is 12 by 9, which is 4 by 3. The equation is done, that's it, nothing else is required. What is the value of m? For which the system of equations above have no solution, the value of m is 4 by 3, and that's your answer, that's it. Alright, pause the video and try this question number 23, please. Alright, let's try this one. So this one is like, again, see, every equation of this form will have two equations. They'll tell you that x and y are variables, then these are the some constants, and they will give you like one condition, either unique solution, either infinite solution, or no solution. There is nothing else that can happen. That's the best part about questions like these. There is nothing else that can happen at all. So after some time, once you like practice like couple of questions of these sorts, you'll simply be focusing on these two words, that's it. Or basically this one word. This is unique or no or infinite. These are the only three things that can happen. There's nothing else that can happen. Okay, now you have a unique solution here. When you have unique solutions, line intersect at a point, that means unequal slopes. That means unequal slopes. And equal or unequal y-intercepts. Okay, so see, you can have two possibilities. When I say unequal and equal y-intercept, the two lines are intersecting at a point, you can have something like this. Now you can see that for both the lines, this is L1 and this is L2, you can see that for both the lines you have unequal y-intercepts. This line L1 is going to intersect the y-axis somewhere here, and this line L2 will intersect the y-axis at some point here. There is another possibility that can happen, that is you can also have two lines intersecting on the y-axis itself. You can have two lines intersecting at the y-axis itself. So in that case, you can have equal y-intercept, but slopes are still unequal. Slopes are still unequal. So we have equal slopes, which means 5 by 8 should be equal to c by 6. Should be equal to c by 6. So from here, I'm going to get that c is equal to 30 divided by 8. So that will be 15 divided by 4, which is equal to 3.75. Which is equal to 3.75. Now as far as the y-intercept is concerned, you can have equal y-intercepts, you can also have unequal y-intercepts. Now if I talk about the first line, can I say that the y-intercept of the first line will be equal to p by c? And for the second one, I can say that the y-intercept will be equal to q by 6. So one thing may happen that p by c is equal to q by 6. Now we know that c is 15 by 4 or 3.75. So p divided by 15 by 4 is equal to q by 6, which will give you that p by q is 15 divided by 24. This is one scenario. This is scenario number one. Another thing that can happen is p by c is not equal to q by 6, which will again lead you to the result that p by q is not equal to 15 by 4. So both the things can happen. Which one of them is going to happen, you do not know. Both can. Okay. So p by q may be equal to 15 by 4, p by q may not be equal to 15 by 4. So in this case, you can only find out the value of c, the definite value of c, and that is basically what is asked in the question also, because they know that you cannot calculate a relationship between p and q. Okay, because it's both the ways. So one value is for sure, that is the value of c, which is 3.75. That is for sure. All right, let's move on. See this explanation that I have given you for this p by q, they will not ask you this in the exam. They will never ask you that. But it's just for your so that you develop your higher order understanding skills of maths. That's it. Okay, think outside the box. That's what basically makes maths interesting, nothing else. All right, anyways, let's move on. Pause the video and try this question, please. All right. So ax plus by is 12, 2x plus 8y is 60. In the system of equations above, a and b are constants. The system has infinitely many solutions. Infinitely many solutions means overlapping lines. That means equal slopes and equal intercepts. Which means a1 over a2 should be equal to b1 over b2. That should be equal to c1 over c2. This is basically what it means. Hence, you can say that a by 2 should be equal to b by 8. That should be equal to minus 12 by minus 60. Why again minus 12 minus 60? Because you'll have to bring 12 and 60 on the other side. Because you need your equation in the general form. Okay. So a by 2 is equal to b by 8, and minus 12 by minus 60 is 1 by 5. Now you can say that a by 2 will be equal to 1 by 5, and b by 8 is also equal to 1 by 5. So a is 2 by 5 and b is 8 by 5. Now what's the question? Find the value of a by b. So a by b is 2 by 5 divided by 8 by 5, which is equal to 1 by 4. So the final answer is 1 by 4. That's your answer. See, again, you simply have to use the conclusion. That's it. There is no second thing that they can ask you in questions like these. There is no second thing to be asked. Okay. All right, let's move on. All right, pause the video and try this question. All right, let's try this one. So kx minus 3y is 4 and 4x minus 5y is 7. In the system of equations above, k is a constant and x and y are variables. For what value of k will the system of equations have no solution? Now you have no solution, that means lines are parallel. Lines are parallel, that means slopes are equal, intercepts are unequal. Which means you can say that a1 over a2 will be equal to b1 over b2, and that will not be equal to c1 over c2. Which means k over 4 will be equal to minus 3 over minus 5, and that will not be equal to minus 4 over minus 7. So k over 4 will be equal to 3 by 5. So k will be equal to 12 by 5. So the value of k for which the system of equation has no solution is 12 over 5. The value of k for which the system of equation has no solution is 12 over 5. And that is your answer to this question. Alright, this one is a different type of a question, but again it's based on the logic of no solution or unique solution. So pause the video and try this question, please. Alright, let's try this one. So I have 2ax minus 15, and let me expand this right hand side. This will become 3x plus 15 plus 5x minus 5. So 2x minus 15 will be equal to 8x plus 10. Will be equal to 8x plus 10. Now it says that no value of x satisfies the equation. What is the value of a? Now I want no value of x to satisfy this. Now observe carefully here. You would realize that the two constant values are different. This is negative 15 and this is positive 10. These two are different. So if I'm gonna make 2ax equal to 8x, if I'm gonna make 2ax equal to 8x, if I'm gonna make 2ax equal to 8x, can I say I can cancel both these terms? I can cancel both these terms from RHS and LHS, and I'll be left with minus 15 and positive 10. I'll be left with minus 15 and positive 10, which can never be equal. I'll be left with minus 15 and positive 10, which can never be equal. So if I make 2x equal to 8x, I'll be only left with minus 15 and positive 10, which will never be equal. Which will lead us to the conclusion that a is equal to 4. Now if I take a value of a anything apart from 4, and let's go the other way around also. If I take the value of a to be anything apart from 4, for example, let's suppose if I take a to be 5, for example, then I can write my left hand side as 10x minus 15 is equal to 8x plus 10. You're gonna get that 2x is equal to 25 and x is equal to 12.5. So there is a value of x which is satisfying the equation. There is a value of x which is satisfying the equation, correct? So if I want 2x minus 15 to never be equal to 8x plus 10, I know that the two constant values are unequal. One is minus 15, one is positive 10. So let's make 2x and 8x equal, because if I make them equal, then I can cancel them out. And if I can cancel them out, I know that minus 15 will never be equal to plus 10. Which means if you take a to be 4, there is no value of x which will satisfy this equation. Because the bottom line is you will not be left with x. If 2x is equal to 8x, then you are not left with x, either on LHS or on RHS. Alright? Alright, let's move on. Pause the video and try this question, please. Alright, let's try this one. 3x by 4 minus y by 2 is equal to 12 and ax minus by is equal to 9. The system of equations above have no solution. The system of equations above have no solution. If a and b are constant, what is the value of a by b? Again, no solution means lines are parallel, which means slope equal, intercept unequal. That means 3 by 4 divided by a is equal to minus 1 by 2 divided by minus b, which is not equal to minus 12 over minus 9. This is basically what it means. So I can say 3 by 4a is equal to 1 by 2b. Or I can write that 3 is equal to 4a by 2b, 3 is equal to 2a by b, or 3 by 2 is equal to a by b, or 3 by 2 is equal to a by b. So what is the value of a by b? The value of a by b is 3 by 2. The value of a by b is 3 by 2, and that's your answer. Alright, try the last question for this video. Please try this one. Alright, let's try this one. Seems pretty simple to me because I know there are only 3 things that can happen. I simply have to use the equations. Okay, so minus 3x plus y is 6. Ax plus 2y is equal to 4. In the system of equations above, a is a constant. For what value of a does the system of equations have no solution? does the system of equation have no solution? So no solution again means the lines are parallel, which means a1 over a2 is equal to b1 over b2, which is not equal to c1 over c2. So that means I can say that minus 3 by a is equal to 1 by 2, which is not equal to minus 6 by minus 4. Now I simply need a, so I just need these two, that's it. So minus 3 by a is equal to 1 by 2, or a will come out to be minus 6. So for a to be minus 6, we're going to have no solution, or we're going to have no common points lying on these two lines. We're going to have no common points lying on these two lines. So guys, that would be it as far as the third type of question from linear equation is concerned. You don't need to know anything more. There are only three things which we have already discussed. I'll just quickly go through the three conclusions. These are the three conclusions which you need to remember. That's it. Nothing else is required. And you simply have to plug in the values. You need to replace a1, a2, b1, b2 and c1, c2 by the numbers that are given to in the question. So thank you so much guys for watching the video. I hope you have learned something new. I hope you have enjoyed the video. If you have any concerns, if you have any questions to ask, please let us know in the comment box, or you can WhatsApp us directly, or you can mail us directly also. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it till now for more videos and exam related content for SAT, GMAT and GRE. And please share the video on the channel with your friends also, so that it helps others also in understanding the basics. And if you're looking for any personalized classes, you can always connect with us. You have my mail ID, you have my phone number also. So thank you so much guys. Keep watching and keep learning.